So we asked this question: if a team takes another quarterback over Johnny Manziel, how big of a mistake would that be, in your opinion, Skip?
Stephen A. Smith, I must admit up front, I have not watched a single play that Derek Carr has played in his life at Fresno State.
Right.
As you know, I watched every play that Johnny Football played last year, including his bowl game against Duke for Texas A&M. I watched 9/10 of the plays that Johnny played as a redshirt freshman the year before, after I've discovered him early in the year against in his early home games against LSU and Missouri. Okay, I'm sorry, LSU, and it was the first game that I watched. Okay, I am still comfortable in making the statement that the Houston Texans will forever regret it if they do not take Johnny Football with the first overall pick. And maybe that influences what I said in the first topic about Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay.
I love Ron Jaworski. I have nothing but respect for he and his film-watching, film-study partners, Merrill Hodge, Greg Cosell. I think they are missing the boat here. I know that they love prototype pocket passers. They love the Andrew Lucks, prototype size, strength, some speed, some athletic ability. I think Johnny can be a very proficient pocket passer in the National Football League. I'm not sure which 5 games Ron Jaworski has watched, but as I've told you, if you did watch the LSU game and you did watch the game at Missouri, that LSU and at Missouri late in the year, you saw a very beat-up Johnny Manziel. You saw a guy who had a thumb injury, he had a knee injury, he had a shoulder injury. He was trying to make plays to make up for one of the worst defenses in all of college football. And at LSU, against a supremely talented defense, he played on a mud bog of a field in hurricane force winds. And I'm not exaggerating. It was hurricane force wind. He was pathetic in that game. I will give you that. And against Coney Ely and Michael Sam, both coming off the edges at Missouri, he had a long night. And he kept A&M in the game right to the bitter end. So, to me, when I hear a David Cutcliffe, who coached both of the Mannings in college, rave about Johnny after the Duke game, saying he had nothing but pocket poise. He was astounded by his accuracy on out routes out of the pocket and stunned by how quick he was in person, that he was much quicker in person than on tape. I'm going to say it again. This is a rare competitor and playmaker. But I told Mel Kiper about a year ago, before last year's draft, this will be the most polarizing figure in the draft since Tim Tebow. This is not Tim Tebow. They're extremely different. In this case, there should be no question about Johnny Manziel. Even though he measured a quarter of an inch under 6 feet, he plays much bigger. He dominated the Southeastern Conference. I have no doubts about him, except his off the field that we've talked about. If he has alcohol issues, which I've reportedly he's addressed his alcohol issues in the past. I don't know that for a fact, but that would be my only outstanding issue, and whether he can stay healthy. Other than that, I'm sorry, Ron Jaworski, I think you need to look at more than 5 games.
Okay. Johnny Manziel's size doesn't affect you at all, height-wise?
Nope. Quickness is extraordinary.
Okay.
A la Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Even quicker than Russell Wilson.
I haven't seen Carr either. Never seen him in my life. All I've got is his numbers in front of me. And I will tell you this. Hasn't missed a game in 3 years. Has improved every year. Completion percentage went from 62 to 67 to 69 this past year. Passing yards, 3,500 to 4,100 to 5,000. I give respect to those numbers. 3 different wide receivers accumulating over 1,000 yards, 1,000 receiving yards.
We're talking about Fresno State.
We're talking about Fresno State, and I understand that. So I understand where they're coming from. But for me, I agree with you, because what Johnny Manziel did, he did in the SEC. He came on the scene as a freshman, won the Heisman, okay? He's performed exceptionally well on the big stage in most circumstances. Nick Saban, who I think is nothing short of great despite his momentary lapse against Auburn, raved about this guy, his competitive fire. And I think on the NFL level, You have to have people like that in your locker room. One of the reasons why I'm willing to concede Tom Brady has a notch above Peyton Manning, I have no questions about Peyton Manning's greatness, what he's accomplished, how he's a future Hall of Famer, and I profoundly respect him. But visually, from a histrionic standpoint, when you look at the fire in the belly of a Tom Brady, you just see something there that doesn't appear visible to the naked eye, like, with Peyton Manning on that level. There is just something a little extra special about Tom Brady. Okay, so for me, I look at Johnny Manziel, and I think about the great quarterbacks we've seen in NFL history and the intangible that they have on that level. And I see Johnny Manziel being one of those individuals. Ron Jaworski has more knowledge about football in his fingernail than I have. I have nothing but respect for him. But I'm flabbergasted as to how he could sit there and say, yeah, you forget the more than 5 games, Skip. How could you see Johnny Manziel for 5 games and say that we're going to pick him before the 3rd round? I don't understand that. I think he's too big time of a talent who has performed too big time on the biggest stage. And by the way, he didn't stink up the joint at the combine or anything like that. I don't understand how you get. Then you talk about the size of his hand or whatever. The ability to his huge hands. I mean, how do you sit there and say, not even a 3rd rounder? I don't get that.